The trade avalanche is coming, according to one executive around the NBA. Mark Stein posted this today with a lot of info on Giannis Antetokounmpo, a huge shift in the Warriors' potential trade for Giannis. I did not see this coming. Plus, the Blazers suddenly involved, and not just as a third team. They want Giannis. Oh boy, this is heating up in a big, big way. I'm Trevor Lade. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Get notified when the avalanche hits, because, you know, we're going to be right here breaking everything down around the NBA. Donnie Freeman, a lot of stuff for us to get into today. The Giannis stuff, man, this is really getting interesting.
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny because we just had a live the other day where we talked about the Blazers potentially being buyers. And, you know, that's the thing we're going to talk about in this. But also, if you guys didn't see it, we did a video just before this one. Make sure you check it out. We covered Paul George's suspension, some DeAndre Hunter news and teams that would be interested in him, and Keon Ellis stuff. So make sure you check that one out when you finish this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. But I guess let's start here with the Blazers. Oh, this could really change things for Milwaukee. So, according to Mark Stein, Portland has expressed its own interest to the Bucks that it would like to acquire Antetokounmpo, even as they understand it would be an extreme long shot to convince Giannis to sign a long-term contract extension. Remember, the Blazers have the Bucks picks.
Yeah.
And so the Blazers are saying, we will be a buyer on Giannis, and we don't care if he leaves in a year. Well, I'm sure they care, but we'd be okay buying even if he tells us he's leaving in a year and a half. Wow. This is the Kawhi Leonard situation.
Yeah.
What could the Blazers, if the Blazers get Giannis and combine him with, let's say, his old buddies, Drew Holiday and Dame Lillard, could they actually win a championship?
That's hilarious because those guys are traded for each other. They're both on Portland, and they're
right.
That's hilarious.
Just the whole gang lines up.
That's how you know that teams love working with the same teams as well. By the way, it's so funny, and it's funny also that they're gonna, if they hypothetically, you know, go out win a championship like you're asking, Dame is also being paid by both teams in this situation. Just hilarious stuff.
Dame is still getting paid by the Bucks.
That's hilarious.
Oh man.
I don't know. I think they need more around them, of course. The Dame and Dame is also older, injury, all that stuff. The Dame Giannis pairing wasn't what we would have expected it to be for one reason or another. But I think that's a solid starting place. You'd be damn old though, but so you need some good wings in there, and obviously they have some currently. You just hope that in a trade situation, you're operating from a position of leverage because you've got those picks, and you don't have to give up your young wings that you have that you're developing. But sure, certainly you'd have to give up some guys. Like I'd imagine Scoot probably goes out. Maybe you have matching salary with Rob Will, but you want to hold on to obviously Avdia. You want to hold on to Kamara,
sure,
who can't be traded right now. You want to hold on to Sharp. Like you want to hold on to these guys.
How are you willing to give back if they give back? Let's say it's all the Bucks picks. I think it's 2 firsts and a swap. Are you giving back? Are you giving back all those if you're the Blazers, knowing that Giannis can leave in 2027?
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Nah, personally, I don't do it. I don't personally.
For a year and a half of Giannis?
Yeah, personally, I don't do it.
I don't think I would either.
I don't do it personally.
And Giannis is great, but this is why he can steer his destination. But Stein is saying the Blazers may be willing to buy. Now, maybe they're not willing to give back all the picks. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's Jeremy Grant's contract that's getting used. You know what I mean? Maybe they say, well, because we think he's gone in a year and a half, we're not going to offer everything here.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
Yeah, if they're giving all the picks, then if you're Milwaukee, you'd be stupid not to do the trade, frankly. Aside from just pure Giannis preference, maybe you want to do right by him and he doesn't want to go there. That's the only thing, right? But just organizationally, you need to do that trade. But otherwise, you know, Jeremy Grant has to be in there. I totally overlooked him. If you get off that Grant contract, that could be huge. So I think that would be a way that you could leverage, putting him into that deal and saying, okay, well, we'll give you another pick if you're Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you are, when we're looking at what the Blazers could potentially do here, there is some good news for the Bucks because I don't necessarily think that the Blazers are going to give back all the picks to a year and a half of Giannis.
No, they're going to give their own picks, by the way.
Their own pick. They're going to say, well, it's going to be the bait and switch. They're going to say, hey, Bucks, we've got your picks. And then when they get into the negotiation, well, actually, we changed that one out with one of our own. Now, Stein did note the far more likely scenario remains Portland participating in a deal as a facilitator to get an impact veteran or two as part of a multi-team trade structure. It should be noted that they do have Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard. The Blazers continue to be regarded as a plausible facilitator in an Antetokounmpo deal reaches the finish line the next 5 days. Portland has long admired Mikal Bridges from the Knicks as a potential backcourt partner alongside Lillard, and have a player in Holiday. So this is the Knicks. Like, Knicks fans should see this and should be thrilled if they really want to get Giannis, because what is being implied here, and I've seen some Blazers fans say we wouldn't do this, but what Mark Stein is implying is that Mikal Bridges could go from the Knicks to the Blazers, and the Blazers would give some Bucks draft capital back to Milwaukee in exchange for that. It would probably be a 3-team deal that would see Karl Anthony Towns go to the Bucks. Maybe it expands and they reroute him, but the basis of the deal would be Towns to the Bucks, or Towns for Giannis, Mikal Bridges to the Blazers, and the Blazers would send Bucks draft capital back to Milwaukee. That, if you're a Knicks fan and you want Giannis, this is a huge positive development.
Yeah, that'd be humongous if they're able to pull that off. And I understand why Blazers fans would say, no, we're not doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bridges would be a nice addition. I kind of wonder if they're not better off just building within with what they already have instead of adding another wing to the rotation, right? That could be a thing. But, for that, anything's possible, right? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, would they be better off just keeping the draft capital and... Yeah. And not having Bridges, but if you're saying, hey, Dame, we want to win right now, next year, Bridges certainly helps you with that, probably more than that Bucks draft capital.
If you're going to trade that draft capital, I think you need to use it as a vehicle to get rid of Grant. And Grant's been good. Don't get me wrong. He's been very good this season. Previously, I didn't think he was worth that, but this season, okay, it's more defensible. Sure. But I think that he is, with that salary, one of your main impediments to making this team better. So I think that if you could get off that salary and use those picks as a sweetener, that could be something. And maybe not all the picks, or maybe one of those in a swap or something,
Yeah, that's something that I think they could potentially look to do. Now, Jeremy Grant, I wonder if they could find a way to keep him, because he would work with Giannis. But anyway, the Blazers' interest here, this makes me more optimistic that a deal could really get done if the Blazers are really making the Bucks picks available, because I think that gives them a lot more incentive. All right, we need to talk about the Warriors, who are the most desperate team to add Giannis. Before we get to that, quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Sleeper. They do a fantastic job. You've heard us talk about them before. If you use our code Bulletin, you get a $100 deposit match up to $100. Super easy to use their picks platform. You can go check that out. Make all kinds of selections. I've got a lot of stuff that I've done here on Sleeper, made a number of picks right here for everybody. Super easy to go through. All you got to do is pick more or less. Again, get that $100 deposit match up to $100 and use that code Bulletin. That lets them know that you came from us, helps out our channel, our show. I went with Cooper Flagg, Modest Buzelis, Kelly Oubre. If you guys want to get in on it, again, use the link in that description down below. All right, let's get into the Golden State Warriors and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Donnie, the situation just changed. Further strong indications, according to Stein, that the Warriors' pursuit of Antetokounmpo is unlikely to involve Jimmy Butler. So what does that mean? It's long been assumed that a Golden State offer would have to include Draymond Green or Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler not out in a Giannis deal, but Draymond Green would be. And Donnie, I got to say, I think this makes all kinds of sense for the Warriors. I think this makes sense. And now, does it help you win this year? No, because Draymond can actually play this year. But if you got to move somebody, I think Draymond and Giannis kind of occupy the same space.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this could make some real sense to move on. But could you imagine the Warriors without Draymond Green after all these years?
Yeah, that would be unfortunate from that perspective. But I mean, if you're getting freaking Giannis, then it is what it is, right? And really, what I would like to see is, in theory, Giannis and Steph obviously are a match made in heaven. But I really want to see Giannis be more open to doing things like setting screens and doing things like that, so he can really get into the two-man game with some of these guys. Because that was one of the things I didn't think he did enough with Dame, but that should fit much better with Steph than it did with Dame, especially the way that Dame was playing and some of those stretches there. But getting rid of Draymond makes a lot of sense here. I think that Jimmy just is the better player in aggregate, and I think you've got a higher ceiling with Jimmy on your team. The problem is that it's not just Draymond though; it's Draymond plus, because Jimmy is basically a 1-to-1 in salary. It may even just work like that in a trade machine, but Draymond isn't. So you have to add more to that. So I don't know if that's Kuminga, if that's Moody, and that's where it may get a little bit tricky. But you need to have a lot of shooting, not just Steph. You need to have shooting across the roster. And Jimmy certainly isn't a great shooter, but he can attack in other ways as well. But Draymond, I think, is probably a bit superfluous at that point.
Yeah, and that's the situation the Warriors would be getting into. Now, again, if you want to give Steph, who, by the way, Steph had a little bit of a knee injury in last night's loss to the Pistons. Didn't seem to be anything serious. Steve Kerr was not overly concerned about it, but nonetheless, just something worth noting. But if you want to give Steph a chance to win this year, obviously Jimmy can't play this season, so that's going to be a factor in that conversation. But interesting that now here we are looking at maybe Draymond Green leaving the Golden State Warriors in this kind of a deal. Now, we have long mentioned that the Warriors are the most desperate team to land Giannis. They need him to try to save their season. So maybe they will pull out all the stops and put Draymond out there. Now, that said, if Draymond is available, I would have to think Milwaukee reroutes him and sends him somewhere else. I don't think he makes sense to bring, especially if Milwaukee fires up the tank, if they can get back some of those. Could Draymond go to Portland? Would Portland want to give up a Bucks pick or two for Draymond?
No,
I don't like that.
No. Draymond's also an impending free agent. I can't imagine he doesn't accept that player option for $27 million next year. But there's a possibility that he doesn't, I guess.
Maybe. I kind of doubt it.
I doubt it too, but maybe he turns it down for more years,
So Stein does note that there are still teams that think that the Bucks are just, trying to get offers in right now, and then they will make the move this summer. Also says it strongly believed that Antetokounmpo would like to be moved before the deadline. And it makes sense, in terms of signing an extension and getting where you want to go. Donnie, the bottom line is that the next, 5 days now?
Oh, yeah.
6 days. NBA trade deadline's coming up. We could very well, I think, see Giannis Antetokounmpo in another jersey.
The sprint has begun, so it's going to be pretty fun. Like they said, the avalanche is coming with 5 days left. There's nowhere left to run. Make it or break it time. We see in a Giannis trade, yes or no? Okay, no, then fine. We need to see these other things start happening too. So either way, the fun is about to begin.
That's right. That's right. The avalanche, it's coming. In other words, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. Let us know your thoughts on Draymond Green maybe leaving the Golden State Warriors in order to facilitate a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade. And what about the Bucks? Should they actually be a buyer, even if they know Giannis is leaving in a year and a half? Give us your thoughts in the comments section. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.